Can you get your ex back after begging? Yes, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But first, my name is Clay with MODERNLOVE.LIFE, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me and you want to help this channel out, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and please make sure to subscribe to this channel as well too, so that you can get notified when we post and upload new videos. Now, in this video, we are going to be talking about your ex's emotional experience during this whole process and how to connect emotionally with your ex. If you do want to learn more about this, we have a course called the Ex Solution Program. You can find info on that down below in the description box. We talk about what we call advanced relational skills in that course, and we help you use them to navigate through your ex's emotional world. Okay, with all that put aside, let's talk about begging after a breakup. Most people, myself included, have been there and done that and begged for their ex to take them back after a breakup. Occasionally, I'll talk to someone who somehow didn't do this. I don't know. They must have been in some sort of very evolved place, or maybe just like really emotionally shut down. One of those, it's like either or maybe they're just completely shocked. I don't know. But most people will go through this period of begging their ex to take them back. It's totally normal. Again, I've been there. I've done this before. I know a lot of people have been there and done this before and had great success getting back together with their ex. So this is something that you can recover from. However, we want to first start by looking at why this happens. Now, of course, many times when you go through a breakup, you are kind of shocked that the breakup happened. It's a little bit of a surprise. Sure, maybe you weren't aware that there were some problems in the relationship, but, maybe you didn't think they were that bad, or maybe you thought, we could get over them, and you just didn't realize that things were kind of getting to this point where there was an actual breakup in someone's mind. And so in this respect, the breakup can really kind of shock you. And because we take our relationships and make them one of the primary foundations of our lives, when that relationship is suddenly swept away, it can understandably cause us to feel really shocked, jolted, even panicked, right? And this causes us to go into what we call damage control mode. Now, this is a state of mind that is very common for a lot of people to find themselves in after a breakup. You're in damage control mode when you're acting from fear, panic, insecurity, all sorts of these like negative emotions that basically can sometimes, and by that I mean all the time, inspire you to do and say things that you pretty much regret as soon as you say or do them. This could include, of course, begging and pleading. This could include grand romantic gestures. This could include, calling and texting many times a day, things like that. And this damage control mode is not a great place for you to be in emotionally, because you are motivated by this panic state. And when you're motivated by this panic state, you're actually coming from a sort of emotional place of survival mode. You're trying to take care of yourself and make sure your needs get met. However, this is where the problem comes in, is that your ex is not really necessarily interested in you feeling good and taking care of your emotions. They, like most of us, are interested in themselves and what's in it for them. And if basically you're saying, hey, I want to get back together because I feel bad, I want to feel good about myself, what they're hearing is, I don't care how you're feeling, I'm not open to hearing about it. Right now, I just want to get back together so that I can feel good again. And that is not allowing them to be seen or heard or understood to the point where they can actually start to open up and have a real talk about getting back together with you. Now, of course, there's an entire emotional world that they're dealing with, including emotional reactants, including the law of consistency, and all sorts of other things that could be keeping them from wanting to talk to you, but not being seen and heard is probably the biggest one out there. So what you want to do first and foremost is understand why you ended up in that place of damage control mode that caused you to beg and plead and all these other things that you have probably by now figured out aren't very effective. What had caused that to happen? What sort of beliefs caused that to happen? What sort of emotional place were you coming from when that happened? What did you believe was true? What did you fear was true? What were you worried was going to happen? And start to understand that. And as you can start to be at peace with what happened, again, I'm not saying you have to love what happened, but once you can start to be at peace with the fact that the breakup happened, then you can start to get out of damage control mode and get into a place where you're better suited to actually connect with your ex. And as you do this, sure, when you're in damage control mode, it might make sense for you to do something like no contact or active no contact. By the way, we have an entire video series on the no contact rule. Our take on it, it's a little bit different than most people, but you can find it right up there. I know that many times in many of these videos I've said that you don't necessarily need to do no contact, but if you're in damage control mode and the more you're interacting with your ex, the further they are getting from you, then it might make sense to not be in contact with them so that you don't do any further damage to the connection, okay? So anyway, what you need to do is you need to get out of damage control mode. That may require some degree of active no contact or cutting contact in some degree so that you can get yourself in a better place to connect. Now, what you want to do when you are in a better place to connect is obviously to connect with them. Now, we have skills and tools for doing this called advanced relational skills. These tools will allow you to kind of get down and connect with them on an emotional level, take an interest in their experience, ask them questions about that, get them sharing how they're feeling, what's going on with them, and all of this. And this can actually be kind of a cathartic experience for them because they start to feel seen and heard. They start to get that you're actually there to listen to them, not there to meet your own agenda, which is to get back together to feel better about yourself. But you're actually curious about what their experience is. You're curious about what makes them tick. You're curious about what they're going through and just understanding them, not because you're trying to influence them in some way or steer them towards something that they don't want, but because you just genuinely care and you just genuinely want to connect with them. And as this happens, you're actually going to start to build up an emotional connection between you and them. And this emotional connection is going to be the foundation that we leverage in order to actually get back together. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're focusing on the most important thing, which is the quality of the emotional connection between you and your ex. This is literally the most important thing that you can and should be focusing on in this process. I know it's so easy to get pulled off track thinking about, are they dating someone else? Are they moving on? Is my situation hopeless? Are we going to get divorced? What's going to happen next? But what you want to do is focus on the quality of the emotional connection. This matters so much more than social media activity, than anything else. Just focus on the emotional connection, and as you do this, your ex will start to open up and they'll start to realize that you don't have this hidden agenda, this ulterior motive of trying to railroad them into a relationship that they don't want. Begging and pleading, I can understand why you would do it, but it's not going to convince them to give the relationship another chance. It's simply going to demonstrate to them that you're trying to railroad them into a relationship that they don't want. And obviously, your ex isn't going to want to walk back into the same relationship that they walked out of in the first place. So we need some time to demonstrate to them that things are going to be different. Not just promise up and down that things are going to be different, but demonstrate to them that things are going to be different. That's where that whole emotional connection aspect comes in that we talked about earlier on in this video. We have to show them through how we're interacting with them that this is not the same relationship that they walked out of. We have to show them that we can be compassionate, that we can be caring, that we can be understanding, that we can be all of these things that probably were lacking in the relationship that led to the breakup, if we're being honest with ourselves. So we want to demonstrate this to them. And what this is going to do is going to start to build trust in them, and that's going to start to move them to opening up more and more and more. So yes, you can get back together with your ex after begging and pleading, but you have to start by identifying the root cause, that damage control mode, getting past it, and learning how to actually connect with them to demonstrate to them that they're not walking back into the same relationship that they walked out of. If this is all something that you'd like to learn more about, we do, of course, have our course called the X Solution Program. You can find that down below in the description box. But once again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, help me out, please, by taking a moment of your time to hit that thumbs up button so that you can send a message to the YouTube algorithm that they might want to, give these videos a little bit of a lift here on this channel. It helps us out, and it would help me out if you do that. But anyway, thank you so much. Once again, please take care. And if you want to learn more about how to connect with your ex, please check out this video series over here on advanced relational skills, or check out this video right here. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.